Yeah, I really liked the Zeus ultimate, sure, but for me it was the Cupid. I mentioned it sort of like a hit confirm before, where all right, the ring comes in, and if it works, if they don't use Phantom, if we trap them otherwise, we'll follow with the Cupid ult. If not, well, we'll just kind of back off and hang out. So I like to see that one. I like to see that interaction, and I think it really showed Eanix's ability to really strategize in the moment.
Naventic this time around having the second pick opportunity. So despite having the counter picks for Eanix the first game around, now Naventic could try to go for the same strategy as long as Eanix doesn't have this Osiris-Odin combination.
Well, the Khepri Afro will be the bans out of Eanix, still keeping one healer in mind. Khepri, though, just a little bit too strong. The Susano will be the selection for Eanix this time around. We'll see if Naventic still go the way of the healers.
Naventic definitely have that option, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just hold off a little bit longer here. They don't want to first pick it too early. Eanix still have 2 more picks before the secondary ban phase begins, so I'm expecting Naventic, if they will show a healer here, it's going to be after this Osiris and Ganesha pick their healer, and then ban away some anti-healing.
I think that's the great choice for Naventic, and Geb will join Susano. Very standard selections. Eanix are going to round out their first half of the draft with perhaps the mid lane.
It's going to be the Zeus yet again here for 50-meter fly. It worked around that first game very well. The amount of space control that this god has, it fell out of contention here in the SPL just because of the resurgence of Toth, a little bit Raw, some Agnes here and there. But honestly, Zeus can easily still be played at any given moment, just the pure AoE control he provides.
Smart Hellband coming out from Eanix, understanding despite the fact that they did win that game, Eribiiax on the Hell, very difficult to deal with. Odin, Bologna banned out by Naventic, and the third healer, Eanix bans out Chonga.
There's one more though. There's a Raw. Still a Raw available potentially for Naventic if they really want to go for that option. They do have that last pick, and they are saving it for this mid-mage.
I like the Thanatos selection. Even though Khepri's banned, Sun Wukong is annoying for Thanatos to deal with, but still going to be the option. And the Rum. So Eanix with a nice standard composition. Naventic with more standard than they were last game. And the last pick is going to be
Nuwa locked in for Naventic. Eribiiax is going to be playing this mid-mage. Now, a different style than compared to the Hell. I really was expecting this Raw here because the whole theme of this set has been sustained to me personally, for at least Naventic's side of things. Nuwa not providing the sustain, but will provide a lot of damage, and I think the goal here for Naventic is just to get members under that execute threshold, trying to allow Thanatos here to find it any single time with their new ultimate.
See, I would have liked the Ra as well for 2 reasons, not just the sustain, but also the combination with the Thanatos. Nuwa's burst, a little bit more problematic to come out. You got to shove out the soldiers and then cause the explosion. So a little bit different there, but still certainly a thought. Beast Feast on the traditional assassin instead of the Zhang Kui this time around. I think we'll see Beast Feast in the jungle more often.
And now Stun Wave with the Osiris this time around instead of the Chalk. We saw just how hard Chalk kind of fell off in that late game. He wasn't really providing the amount of same effect that the Odin was.
Okay. As compared to the Odin, I will agree with you on that one. I actually liked the amount of silences that Chalk was bringing out. I thought he was still being effective, but at the end of the day, Odin versus healers is always going to be more effective, so we'll see how this one works out. Stun Wave on the Osiris, like you said, a little bit more impactful, perhaps.
That's what it seems like thus far in the duel lane, though. Naventic not getting the better end of this one, as Ram is so easy to clear the way with at level 1. All 5 Astral Arrows. Predators trying to hold on to his own blue buff, but not gonna... Actually, he did get his own blue buff. He had the Bumbus Mask and able to secure it.
Yeah, big deal right there. That's why we do see some of the Bumbus Mask starts come out from the solo laners. Extra damage on those camps, and of course the sustain, but wrapping around the backside is going to be the jungle Thanatos, who we all know has a fantastic level 1. Predators makes the right move and goes animals and knocks 2 players up.
Auzrik sitting at level 3 here, able to invade the speed buff. The blue buff is still standing for Naventic if they wanted to go for that one. They weren't successful in terms of getting these elementals either, so Eanix with a decent marginal lead thus far controlling the jungle.
Welshbeastq has been a pleasure to watch since he came onto the squad. The rest of the guys on Eanix, DineOhSaw, 50-meter fly, Auzrik Predators, these guys have played together before Welshbeastq joined the squad. They started with a different hunter. They bring Welshbeastq on board sometime last year, and he's fit in very well, and he's been a lot of fun to watch here, totally. I think his performance on the Cupid last game really showed you just how strong he can be, and on the Ram, I'm expecting even more.
There's a lot of highlight potential whenever you see anybody playing Rama, honestly. Everyone just has their fingers on the keyboard. Marvels or not Marvels, right? That's what everybody is thinking to themselves whenever they see any player in the SPL, SCL playing that Ram god. Just because of, like, you can box anybody, roll backwards, and if you get them low enough, if you hit all 3 snipes and the enemy doesn't have an Aegis, you're going to get a kill.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice play coming out. Seeing if that's going to be where the Ram wants to go here. But at the moment, just looking for some general farm. See him picking up that red buff, so some extra clear against the Medusa, who should have the upper hand past the first wave. Thanatos, he's got no hands. Auzrik gets the kill. First blood going to Eanix.
Just BeastFeast not able to get off his ultimate into the sky. They're just not sitting at level 5 quite yet here, as Eanix is doing a great job just grouping up and controlling the jungle here. And as a result of that 1 level disparity, that no CC immunity, not able to avoid the detonate damage, easy first blood for Eanix.
Trouble here on the left side. Welshbeastq, no problem, just going right into the wave, getting silenced out, and just going to get hit. There's the Geb ultimate to save Welshbeastq, as he was being very aggressive.
Taking a lot of damage as CRYSIS MoTioNZz. If that Medusa gets to 40% health or less, that's what's going to possibly trigger Welshbeastq to try to go for that ultimate. But without the Cataclysm knockup combination to set him up for it, needs to kind of wait for the right timing window. But the beats was expended by CRYSIS MoTioNZz, so that could be the next window for them.
That's certainly where CRYSIS wants to look. I mean, whether or not that's going to happen is a different story, but as I said before, totally, the Medusa is going to be a little bit more powerful in the mid-game than the Ram itself. Ram has to wait a little bit longer before he can reach that same level of prowess, simply because, and, you know, just to illustrate, the Ram is all basic attack,
yes,
which is extremely item dependent. Medusa, her acid spit, the ultimate, there's a lot of base damage on those as well, so she can hit that her mid-game stride by just putting in levels into those abilities as opposed to needing the gold that time brings.
The longer the little boxing engage happens, the more favorable it will be for Welshbeastq, but that's why CRYSIS MoTioNZz will look to engage, get off the abilities, and then disengage whenever given the opportunity to do so. So that's the comparison for these two hunters. However, Welshbeastq is sitting pretty with a 1-level advantage here, sitting with the red buff as well. It doesn't seem that Naventic really want to give their hunter that red, as they're kind of prioritizing it for Eribiiax instead.
Well, I mean, at this point, I think that's a right way to go about it as well. I mentioned that Welshbeastq needed the help in the clear wave. That's why we see the red on the Ram. It's going to be the same deal in the mid lane, totally. Eribiiax with the Nuwak clear, it's instant clear when she gets there. Level 9, level 10. Versus the Zeus. Zeus might have the best clear in the game.
Anubis. As long as you don't silence out his bleh.
Oh, right. The bleh.
Bleh.
I forgot about the bleh. We need a vampire Anubis skin that comes with walrus hands.
I will voice act it. For free.
Where it's just bleh.
Bleh.
No. Just no emotion.
Just bleh.
Bleh. So he's got big damage, and bleh.
Bleh. So anticlimactic. But this game has also been relatively slow compared to the last game. We saw a lot of action here at this stage of the game, but second game so far, playing it very careful. We saw what happened when Eanix tried to go for the gold here in game number 1. They were not able to really secure it with a nice little steal coming out of Naventic, but this time around, it seems that they're still getting into their own heads, not able to confirm any objectives, or at least not start any objectives that they want.
Yeah, I mean, right now, 5 minutes in, probably not the way to go, but we'll see how the game goes on a little bit later. Predators as well, also going to sort of help out that mid-game area. Because right now, when you look at Welshbeastq, 50-meter fly, these are late-game characters. Auzrik and Predators have to really help Eanix in this early to mid-game and make sure that Naventic's characters like Thanatos don't get off to a rush. That's exactly what Auzrik did in the middle lane with that first blood.
And the Susano has just been making the presence known on every side of the map thus far. Susano is one of these guys that just has so much mobility in his kit, diving that tier 1 tower.
He gets hit with the tsunami. Auzrik from a distance takes down the mid laner, but 50-meter fly gets one as well. 2 down for Eanix. It's 3-zip.
A great play out of Eanix just to be able to utilize their space control here. The 50-meter fly damage off of the chain lightning, off of the shield, whether he uses his ultimate or not, it controls not only jungle fights very well, but also fights in the mid lane.
That was the tip. That was the longest shot that you could actually shoot the the Susano ultimate. Eribiiax did not expect to get hit by it. He's still the ult. Eribiiax did not go in the ultimate. Simply because, why?
Stun wave, though, he's going to get gang going up and down. Realize he had nowhere to go. Even if he used Lord of the Afterlife under that tier 1 tower, there was 50-meter fly right around that corner with the shield already in position for that chain lightning bounce. So he figured to himself, like, all right, I'm dead here anyway. Let me just get off some damage.
You know, I like Naventic's choice here in game number 1, totally. When it comes down to it, I think Eanix are showing that they are a very strong traditional Smite team.
Oh my god, BradleyRJ is getting soloed. He has to go into the sky. Not enough. The archers and the bluestone just not enough. He would have died by now.
Yep.
The regen actually might have saved his life too, depending if there were any archer shots following him.
Yeah. Rough stuff for the Thanatos.
Oh, he's not done yet. Auzrik knew that BradleyRJ was going to try to sustain off of those back harpies. Jungler mindset versus jungler mindset.
That's such an Auzrik play right there, knowing that he has to go for it. But there's the ultimate out of Zeus. That one perhaps a little bit less powerful. Medusa ultimate avoided by Welshbeastq there on the left side, so that'll deter the team fight.
CRYSIS MoTioNZz not getting the better end of this one. He's 1 level behind Welshbeastq. He doesn't have his Transcendence finished quite yet either. Auzrik is waiting inside this purple buff for CRYSIS MoTioNZz to show his face.
Sitting there, waiting. Auzrik has been all over the map. 4 out of the 5 kills belong to him. And guess what? The 5th one, he assisted on. So Auzrik also going to clear out the enemy jungle as well as the enemy barracks.
Just not able to really control their own jungle. Naventic losing their own red buff there and losing a lot of time as well. Not a good look for Naventic, who's been able to stall out the game number 1 in such a nice way to go into game number 2 without too much control. They have no pace. They have no control of this pace of the game at all.
And that's sort of what I was getting at when I was saying that Eanix looks to be a very strong, they have built themselves up to be a very strong traditional Smite team. Keep in mind, this is a team formerly known as TMNT, basically the newcomers to the league, and they've solidified themselves as a force to be reckoned with. I really liked what Naventic did. They realized, look, Eanix is a very strong traditional Smite team, so let's throw a curveball. Do something different. 2-2-1, ignore jungler, bring out the healers. Naventic understand what they do well, and when they stick to their strategy, they excel.
But Naventic's strategy was easily recognized by former TMNT, now Eanix. They just did all their homework. They banned away Aphrodite Chang'e in game number 1, allowing this hell pick to go through because they had that very important Odin last pick in game number 1. In game 2, we saw all 3 healer bans between the Afro Chang'e and the...
Not Ra.
Not Ra. I was thinking of Ra. I'm like,
I know you were thinking Ra.
The hell was banned, yeah. And so I was surprised as to why we didn't see the Ra, but it makes sense as to why he's going for the Nuwa, which is another defensive style of a mid-mage. But what's interesting is that you have a defensive mid-mage here for Eribiiax, but a very aggressive and offensive jungler out of BradleyRJ.
Well, in theory, 0-3-0 has been anything but offensive and aggressive. He keeps dying in the lane, in his own jungle. Auzrik just doesn't let him live. That's the key here.
I mean, as a Susano player, you gotta find that edge against a Thanatos. Whenever Thanatos gets shut down this hard, he almost becomes useless there. You're just hoping that your teammates can find the damage for you to execute somebody in this team fight. You're gonna be sitting back in the distance, trying to find those long-range depth sides and then be like, taking out your binoculars and be like, did I hit him? All right, I hit him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go again.
You really got to find those discs from distance, and the Thanatos has a ton of base damage, so as long as you can get the levels, as long as you can get the farm, you can stay relevant and actually still be a big part of these team fights. Unfortunately, that's not what's happening. 3 levels down here to Auzrik's 12. BSV sitting at 9.
Goodness.
Bradley did not expect to die there either.
Not at all. That level 12 Zeus, pen boots online, Dynasty plate helmet for additional penetration, making it more difficult for BradleyRJ to survive here. Trying to finish off his Gauntlet of Thieves, now finishing it off here. He didn't have it available for that last encounter.
Yeah, just the Talaria boots, which offer him no help.
And this is the difference that we're seeing in the builds here between DineOhSaw and BradleyRJ, but hold that thought, Eanix, they get themselves the goal here. Nice attempt from CRYSIS MoTioNZz, just not in the nick of time with that Petrify.
0.5 seconds too slow?
Something like that. That's what it seems like. But going back to my original point here between these two different support builds is the shoes here. Travel shoes for BradleyRJ, trying to be more greedy, get that extra gold online, whereas DineOhSaw gets these reinforced greaves, so every time he gets hit, he gets increased protections. He also has that crowd control reduction, and if BradleyRJ went for that kind of route, he wouldn't have died under that tier 1 mid tower. Very
true, but at the same time, he might not have even been under the tier 1 mid tower, which in retrospect sounds like a good thing.
Like the butterfly effect?
I bring it up all the time, man. Every move you make in Smite or games like this in general, it's a ripple effect. That one, if he doesn't go Talaria boots, he goes tank boots. He's not in mid lane even to get killed yet, but maybe he's someplace else getting into trouble. You know, there's so many different choice and decision trees that come into play.
Every move you make, every step you take, Auzrik will be watching you. That's what he's saying to BSV right now.
You know, I was going to roll my eyes, but honestly, it's just too damn true. It's exactly what's been going down. Auzrik has just kept tabs on everybody. This time, he's going to take a look right there at Eribiiax, and he's going to feel all puffy after that one.
BradleyRJ, Cataclysm, the knockup as well. Dharmic Pillar's trying to survive a little bit further, popping the shell just for good measure. The tier 2 dive getting pulled back in. Jetstream is good. Stormcloud as well.
That one's going to sting. You see how I hit both?
I see what you did there.
I hit both.
I see.
I hit both. The mid lane was puffy, and that one's gonna sting.
I see what you did there. Ultimate here, out of the run. Not really. That's his own teammate.
Yep.
He was shooting his own teammate.
Yep. Listen, the Eanix guys have fun. The Eanix guys have always had fun. They've always been this squad that are gonna be a little flashy. They want to play for that sort of. Eanix wants to be talked about for their gameplay just as much as their attitudes.
Absolutely. Just look at Predators finding the solo kill onto Stunwave under that tier 1 solo tower. With a Gladiator shield, he's able to spam off his cooldowns more frequently than Stunwave ever can hope to do so, and this mystical mail just wasn't enough to keep him alive.
You know, it's interesting, Toli. I said, you know, Eanix wants to be in-game. I love their banter. I love the attitude. I love the taunts, right? You get the kill over there behind the tier 1 tower. You're waiting for the minions. You just taunt. You just laugh. You're doing something, right? You get in the head of the enemy. I like that. I don't know these guys, you know, I don't know these guys at all outside of the game, but from what I've seen inside, I like their swag. I like what they bring. They have fun playing the game, and Stunwave, not having fun right here.
No, not at all. His ultimate's not available to get away from this one, but the tether will buy him just a brief moment. The detonate charges are being stacked up here. The Zeus ultimate for good measure. Clean kill onto Stunwave.
Clean, but maybe overkill. Like, I mean, using the ultimate one shot away.
Sure, it was a little bit of overkill, but Naventic can't even take advantage with the Zeus ultimate being down. Blink Cataclysm under Beast Feast will force out the Purification Beats and the Hovering Death there just to escape.
No charges on the Thanatos, so we won't see him taken out of the sky by way of detonate just yet. Tier 1 tower on the right-hand side going to fall down. Eanix collects another 500 gold. And that puts them 7K in the lead just 14 minutes in.
Look at Welshbeastq.
It's 10 zip.
He's not done being aggressive at all, just proxying between that tier 1 and tier 2 while CRYSIS MoTioNZz is under his own tier 1 tower, not able to get any sort of farm that he really wants to. And because he had to back, not only is this going to be a portal demon here on the side of Eanix, but they're going to lose their tier 1 and duo.
You know what Eanix are right now? You ever run into the guy? Oh, Bradley. He's in trouble over here.
Oh,
Predators
don't do him like this,
He's
Predators.
going for
don't do him like this, Predators.
Silence works out for the moment, but Predators looking for the Jingu. Bang! Gets interrupted.
He
Finds
did it.
him on the second shot.
He did him dirty like that, Tom. But Predators, and now he's just gonna ox away, but he's got to go back in because Stunwave is cutting off his option. He's still buying enough time though for his teammates to make this rotation and find Eribiiax.
Not so clean that time around, but I think the Eanix. I think Eanix's sort of claim to fame, or their what do I want to say? Their mantra right now. What are you gonna do about it?
That's true.
What are you gonna do about it? That's who Eanix are right now. They're the guy that just walks into the bar and goes, what are you going to do about it?
They found 2 kills on the right, 1 kill on the left. They spread their forces so thin that they're able to just win on every single front. And Eanix, they're looking like a top-tier SCL team right now with this kind of performance.
Yeah, I mean, the way that they're playing, this has just been very, very strong coming out from Eanix. And, you know, the thing that I want to say to Naventic, stick to your game plan. Whether it's the healers or whether it's the double mid, something was working when you tossed Eanix the curveball. And I really enjoyed watching Naventic play it a little bit differently, because like I said, it kept Naventic on their toes. Naventic in game number 2, or excuse me, it kept Eanix on their toes. Game number 2.
Not the same case. Just all the healing bans. There was just no option for Eribiiax to get off his comfort picks there. The Nuance Thanatos combination didn't really work out for them compared to the Zeus Susano out of Eanix.
Yeah, I mean, the Nuance Thanatos combination is not a really traditional combination. There's not synergy there, really. And I think we saw that the lack of synergy right there on the front page.
It just seems that there needs to be that third flex option in order to enable this Nuance Thanatos, something that brings a lot of control into the forefront. I'm specifically thinking of Athena when it comes to mind. Set up the Clay Golem Detonate combination with a nice taunt.
At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Auzrik, just a fantastic jungler, able to really run this game for his team. The Susano started things off with the first blood, nice and easy, just putting Thanatos down right there.
Just so much damage from both Susano and Zeus here. Just why not? You even said it yourself here. And this long-range Typhoon. Eribiiax did not have a good time this game.
He had time to ult, and like I said, and it's less I mean, I guess if you're at that, I don't think a lot of people thought that Susano was going to hit.
No, not at all. But you know who did know? Auzrik knew. Because he knew every step they took, every breath they make, everything that they do.
That's not even in the song.
I don't even care anymore. I don't even care anymore, honestly.
Let's watch the schedule show up here. 2-0 goes to Naventic, and Team Rival versus Era Eternity is who we're going to take a look at next. Elevate and Starboys will be number 3, but Rival, Era Eternity, what are you looking for in this matchup?
I'm looking forward to the jungle matchup here. Rival has been one of those prestigious teams that's been making a name for themselves here, and I'm looking for what they're able to start off at the beginning of that set.
We'll see how the beginning of that set's going to go in just a moment. Stay tuned. We'll be back with some more SCL.